Greetings. So we're continuing on the thread of what's in a Feldenkrais lesson, and today you actually get to have a lesson. Isn't that great? The lesson is called Touching the Floor. It's attributed to Moshe Feldenkrais. There are some important things that you should know. Rather than thinking of the lesson as fixing something, you want to think about improvement, and improvement as something that's constant throughout your life. That you are on a trend of improvement because you're enhancing your awareness. And when awareness improves, everything improves. So you're more important in the lesson than the movement is. The movement is only a process that allows you to pay attention to yourself. When you pay attention to yourself, changes happen. So take it easy. Don't worry about getting the lesson right. Don't worry about doing it as fully as you can. Be patient. Most importantly, be patient and be curious. Let's see, what else do I need to tell you? Don't do anything that hurts. So if I'm asking you to do something that's uncomfortable, do it smaller. Do it fewer repetitions. Make it easy and make it pleasurable. It should feel pleasant to you. You can rest whenever you've had enough. If you feel like you've done enough and the repetition, you don't feel like you need any more repetitions, then just rest. Take a rest anytime you need, even if I haven't called it. So we'll begin the lesson now. Let me adjust the camera. There we go. So the first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna start in standing, so that you can just sense how you are right now in this moment, standing on your 2 feet with this narrow base of support, whether the weight's on the front of your feet or the back of your feet, whether you feel like you're fighting gravity, holding yourself up against gravity, whether you feel pulled down by gravity, or whether you feel that you're sort of floating, that gravity is just kind of coming up and through you. And then we'll do the same thing lying on the back. So settle yourself onto the ground. Now you have this huge base of support, the whole back of your body, all the places where you touch, back of your pelvis, the back of your heels, the back of your head. Notice the quality of breathing in your upper chest, whether you can feel any expansion in the front of the ribs where the breastbone is, in the back of the ribs where the shoulder blades are, or in the side of the ribs where what we call the armpits are. And then just very gently, as a reference movement, something that we'll return to, begin at the very beginning of rolling your head a little bit to the right and the left, using the floor. So you're rolling your head, moving the back surface of your head along the surface of the floor. The floor comes under you with each change in contact. You can notice things like, what are my eyes doing? What's the quality of my breathing? Am I concentrating so hard I'm holding my breath? Is there any movement in anywhere else besides my head? For instance, is my neck turning with my head or not? Is my breastbone maybe tilting a little bit along with the turning? Is there a change in contact across the back of my shoulders? Could be yes, could be no, doesn't matter. You're just gathering information. Then we'll begin on the side. You can pick whichever side you choose. So if you would like to lie on the other side, you just put your head on the opposite side so you can still watch the video. You can lie with absolutely nothing, with your arm to support you. If you have any trouble with shoulders, you may want to put a small pillow beneath your waist, simply because it gives the bottom shoulder a little bit more room. And you may want to put a firm pillow under your head. So this would be sort of the most propped that you would want to get in the lesson.
If you do, push the pillow back so your arm can still be overhead, because this area of the floor is going to need to be clear. If you don't want anything, no sweat. You do what's most comfortable for you. So I'm going to work this way. And I'm going to start with my elbow bent. Actually, just relax your arm for right now. Check out your legs. You want to have your ankles on each other a little bit. You want to have your knees on top of each other. Is one knee forward of the other? Are your knees lined up? If your knees are lined up, that means your hips are lined up. If they're not lined up, it means you may be rolled back or rolled slightly forward. See if you can stack your pelvis and also stack your shoulders. So one shoulder is not forward or back of the other. Then place your palm on the floor with your elbow bent directly in front of your chest. And begin very slowly to slide your hand up and down the floor. Noticing the quality of the pathway that your palm is making as it caresses the carpet. Just going up and down. As you continue with the movement, you may notice that there are other instruments joining in with the orchestra. So we have the soloist of the hand. Maybe you notice that your chest is rounding slightly as it goes down and arching slightly as you go up. Maybe you notice that your chin moves up and down. So take as much time as you want, keeping your palm on the floor the whole time, so don't lift your hand off. It's the maximum that you can go comfortably. And to do so, what has to happen to your head? You can continue to explore. And then at this point, what I would recommend is that you come onto your back and just take a very brief rest. The reason that we take rest is so we can notice what's changed. So what's different now about how you're lying on the floor? Is one side heightened in your awareness, and is it the bottom side or is it the top side? Does one shoulder feel freer? Does one side of the neck feel more warm or alive? You can take as long as with this rest as you like, and then you'll come back again to the same position. This time with your knees together, you're going to bring your whole forearm on the floor. So what do you have to do from this position to this position? So there's a difference, isn't there, in the position? And now begin to take your forearm and slide it away from you and towards you. So this is a different movement than the first movement, isn't it? Now, instead of going up and down and curling or rounding and arching, your spine is rolling forward and back. If you had a laser beam shining out your breastbone, notice how your breastbone points, and the laser beam points to the floor and then points back forward. Notice whether your pelvis is moving forward and back as you roll on the bottom side of the pelvis. Notice if the top knee is moving. Just taking your time, being easy and gentle. And now, take another brief rest. Sense what's different now from when you rested before. Take as much time with this as you need. You may want to pause your phone if you want to rest longer. I'm trying to make this video not be too long. So come again. now you have the freedom to move in any direction with your hands. So imagine that you're washing the floor with your hand. So you want to touch as far away from you as you can. You want to not miss any bit of the floor. You can move in different directions, forward, back, up and down, around in a circle. You can come really close to your torso. You could reach under your torso. The purpose of this, we call this a constraint, that you're washing the floor with your hand. The purpose of it is for you to see what else moves when you move your hand. So all of the ways that this bottom shoulder, this bottom armpit gets to roll into the floor, gets to roll backwards, gets to roll downwards. How your head has to adjust differently relative to where you're reaching. You can also even reach up behind yourself as far as you can with your palms staying on the floor. So there's no limit to how far you can reach. And you can keep this going for as long as you want. It's kind of fun. So I'm going to continue, but if you wanted to pause and do more of that, you could. Now we would come back down and do our final rest. And at that point, we would roll our head. So, wow. There's so much more of my upper body involved in the rolling of my head. And I feel so much more alive on one side of my body. Then the final piece would be roll to your side and stand and take another standing baseline just to see how you feel in gravity. Whether you feel a little bit more lifted, a little bit more present, a little bit more simple. So we'll stop there for now. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment. And thanks.